Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome back to the Code Tracker, where we make the code simple and fun. In today's video, we are diving into the new concept, an interesting and powerful concept that is a recursion function. Recursive function, and it's also called as recursion functions. Ever you wonder how function can call itself? Sound confusing? Don't worry. By the end of this video, you will not only understand the recursion, but also write the efficient code and on the recursive function easily. We will start with the basic explore of classic example, and after that we will also going to write a factorial code using recursion. We're going to perform the factorial code using recursion and even understand how recursion works behind the scene. So without wasting any time, let's start with recursion. And first of all, I will give you a theoretical base of recursion, and after the theoretical examples and theoretical definition, we are going to write a code. And in the top, at the I also provide the timestamp where if you want to skip the theoretical base and you want to move the code base, you simply go to the timestamp and move to the code. Let's start with the recursion. What is a recursion? Basically, recursion is also an important concept in the C++ and the function type in the functions. With a recursion is the topic that you have to cover and cover because it is very important. But first of all, using the definition in the screen of the what is a recursion. Recursion is a programming concept where a function call itself directly or indirectly to solve the problem. Recursive functions are useful for solving the problem that can be broken down into smaller subproblems of the vector. Basically, recursion is a programming concept that the function it's similar to the function, but the main difference with the recursion is that it have to call it by itself. We don't need to call. We have to call it only once. After that, it will call by its own self because depend upon the condition. Why we use recursion? We use recursion because it used to solve the big problem. There's a sub problem. It can convert the big problem to sub problem, make the chunks of the problems, and solve the every chunk of the problem, then provide the result after solving the chunk. It is basically used to improve the efficiency of the code, and it is also used to increase the readability. And you can see there the definition tell us that it used to break down the smaller sub problem. Basically, if we have a big problem, like we have going working with the complex calculation, we use the recursion method that solve the convert the convert the complex calculation into sub part sub part and make the chunks of the problem. And from this chunks we solve the a chunk. After solving the chunks, we get the desired answer. This is the recursion and recursive function in the C++. Recursion is the method and recursive function is a function that we create in a C++ to perform that recursion. Structure of recursive function. And to work on the recursion for recursive function, we have to also know also have to know the structure of the recursive function, how the recursive function work. Basically, recursive function has two major things: that base case and recursive case. The condition that's called stop the recursion to provide and include. We have to build up the base condition. We'll have to build a base case that solve the recursion to prevent the infinite loop. So uh, it basically help to mm, help to don't it should not make the infinite loop. It's after matching the condition, after it match the condition, it solve the recursion, and that's is the base condition. And recursive case, the function call itself with a smaller problem. The recursive case is a case where the function call itself with a smaller problem, and so and call set in the form of smaller problem and solve out the smaller problem of the recursive appliance. And this is a basic example of recursion example. So from this example, you will understand the concept of the recursion. And after this example, we will to write a little bit trickiest question, that is a factorial by using a recursion. How to calculate the factorial of any number by you. Basically, you see the code in here. I will skip this part because you already know why we use this hashtag include iStream and using name space. Uh, First of all, we have to create a function that I already told you how you can create the function. This is a void print number and int n. We know that a teacher it is printing it using integer. This how function call itself. We have matched, we use the condition. It's basically a recursive example to print out the numbers in the reverse order. It check the number if number is 0. If the number is 0, we don't need to call the function. We do not need to make the function recursive, because the condition match because the 0 is the smallest number. So that's why if an n is equal to 0, it's mean n is equal to 0, then return. It's mean no return, is just program get terminated. Else, if the n is greater than 0, if n is not 0, then it move to what there and see out n and print out the n. Let's simply print out the n as the function see out n return. It will should return the answer if the see out n and print the number. There is a function name. How we can make the function recursive? Just we need to call the function a function with the name of its function inside the inside its function. We have to uh, if I give you example, I used it by drawing something here. For example, this is the name of function. This is the name of function. If we want to make this function recursive, we need to use this name of function, and we have to call this function inside the function, inside its function, to make that recursive. Simply what should I did it, if the n equal to 0, it will stop. If n is greater than the 0, then it will move to there. And we just call the function that is a print number, name of same function, and the also give on the value, just calling the function. In this step, you're just calling the function, and n is the value, and just we're going to decrease the value so it can display the reverse order. For example, if user enter the value n, for example, if 0 and user enter the value 2, and to make the recursion of function, now we know that n is not equal to 0, because n is 2 and is not equal to 0, so it move to there, and it will skip this part and move toward there print number and function. Simply 2 will get minus the number. We know that 2 is the number that user enter, and just it will minus say from 1. It will minus from the 1. It will minus 2. 2 will minus from 1, and after now we know that the value has been changed. Now value become 1. So then it will move again to the first part, to this part, and again it check, then now then and value is 1. Now again it check, now still it is not equal to 0, so it move to there again, and now it also make the decrement. Now and value is 1, and we are minusing 1 with 1. We are minusing 1 with 1, so now we can know that it will become a 0. It will become a 0. So now the value has value got changed. It becomes 0, and it move again to the this function, and then now we know that the value is 0. Now if you check the condition, now the condition match, because n is equal to 0, and we are making it equal to the 0, so it will return and the function will get terminated, because whenever we reach to the 0, the function will get terminated. This is a basic condition of a print number. You can see there. Simply this is a main function. We declare the number, that is num5. We have a 5 number, and just display the countdown from where this message that we should know that they were displaying the message in the reverse order. We're displaying the message in the reverse order, and we are displaying this message in the reverse order, and just simply call the function, that main function print numbers, and then the countdown will be begin. If I say show your output, the output is this: 1 2 3 4 5. When it reach to the 0, it will stop. This is I already told, if it reach to 0, it will stop and return the function. But if the value is greater than the 0, it will reach to this same function that is calling itself, just decrement of the one value, and it move to again, and just printing out the n here, you forget to mention there is the CR, because why we use this here simply we are printing. If I give you example right there, if n is equal to 2, now we know that 2 is not equal to 0, so it moved there and print out the 2. After printing out the 2, then it moved to this print function, that is the same function, just decreasing the size, that is minus with the minus 1. We are minusing 1 with the 2. Now it become 1. Now the value is 1 again. It move again to the function, there now value is 1. Then again it will not equal to 0, so it will print out the 1 again, and the 1 will be displayed here again, and so on is working same in this procedure. This is the basic example of the version. If you understand it, I hope you will understand this. And you can see that output is countdown from 5, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is a basic advantage and disadvantage of using a recursion. Advantage of this using a recursion is simplify the problem that ever occurs it. Basically, if we have a complex problems and plus the calculation, we use recursion that help to make the subparts of the problems. Uh, like example of retraversal and bike tracking. It basically concepts of the PSAs that we going to that you should not know about the retraversal and bike tracking. And it's also reduce the size of code, because the function is calling itself. We don't need to write the function each time again. And but the disadvantage also has a disadvantage. It take a lot of memory. It take a more memory than other functions. And there is to stack overflow. It can overflow the stack, and slower compared to iteration. In some cases, it a little bit slower than the other functions, because it have to make the sub parts of the function. So the time complexity is low for it. And why you use the recursion? You have to check out the condition why you use the recursion. And problem can be divided into smaller sub problem at the same time. If the problem can be divided into small subtype, you have to use the recursion. If you know that you can solve this problem in the subparts, so you can use the recursion. By iterative solution become too complex. If the solution is too complex, you have to know that you can solve it in the subparts, so you can use recursion when working with the. Okay, it's a basic examples of the you can use the recursion. And now after covering the chapter of the recursion, now move toward the code. I'm just going to write the code. From this code, you will able to understand. Before starting the code example, we have to look about the factorial. What is a factorial? I know you know about the factorial you learn in the mathematics, but many of the students, I think they don't know. So simply, I'm going to write the giving the explanation of the factorial, how we can find the factorial of any number. So I'm basically using this slide. On the right of this slide, I'm using a pen. From that pen, I am going to explain the what is a factorial. So get in touch with me. What is a factorial? After this factorial, we're going to write the code of the factorial. Simply, what is a factorial? If we want to calculate the factorial of any number, we have to reverse track the factorial. We have to reverse the number. We have to track it in reverse, so that, for example, if we have to calculate the factorial of 5. This is the 5. If we have to calculate the factorial, and the explanation marks if we sign into factorial. If we have to calculate the factorial of the 5, just we're going to reverse the track and multiply the 5. Just we need to reverse the track the number and multiply with the 5. Uh, it, Before the 5 there is 4, and before the 4 there is 3. Yes, we're going to multiply with the 3 here. Before the 3 there is 2, and before 2 is there 1. You know that after reverse tracking, we have to multiply the all the values on the after multiplication of the all the values. The coming result is known as factorial. Well, we have to multiply it with the 5 4s are 20, and 4 multiply 8 20 multiplied by 30, 60, and 60 multiplied by 2 is around 120. So its factorial is the 120. Simply, that's how we can calculate the factorial of a number. Just going to reverse the track of the number in the reverse order, 4, 3, 2, 1, and so on to be 1, and then multiply the all the reverse numbers, and the desired result is in as factorial. This is simple how This code section, we are going to write the code by using the recursion method, how to find the factorial of number. So simply I'm going to write the code. After writing the code, I will explain the whole code, and from that code you will able to understand the concept of the recursions. So I take the advanced example so you can able to understand uh, the concept of recursion while you use recursion in the complex calculations. So simply I will write the code, then I will explain the code. Okay, this is the code that you are seeing in your screen. Basically, how what is this code is doing? First of all, I created the function with the name of fact that basically mean the factorial. I will give the name fact, and then I will pass the parameter. Then I pass a parameter that is integer type, and that has a parameter name is n. Basically, we're making the if condition. So if n equal to 0 and n equal to 1, this is the or operator. Basically, I told you earlier in the operator section. This operator help to check the conditions. If one of them is get true, it will return the 1. It doesn't depend upon the other condition. If one of them get true, it will return the 1. And but in AND operator, the both will condition should be get true. We should be get true and return 1. So in this condition, when n reach 0 and n equal to 1, it return the 1. If user enter the n equal to 0, then it would return the 1. And if user enter the 1, then it will return the 1. Why I'm returning the 1? You have a question in your mind, because we are returning the 1 that help because of the factorials 0. The factorial of 0, the factorial of 0 is always 1, and the factorial of 1 is also always 1. So that's why I'm returning the 1. So it can simply return the 1 without performing any calculation. Then after that, if it is not 1, then it will move outside the if statement that I return. When that passing the parameter here, that is n, that is multiplying. This is the static sign that we use for multiplication, and then there is a factorial n minus 1. Why we are doing n minus 1? Basically, we are going to call it itself. So the function can call it itself after the until the condition get be until the whole calculation get completed. So simply how it is working, if I explain you, when user, for example, if user enter of n value that is 5, then it is going to multiply with the factorial function that is n minus 1, that means 5 minus 1, 5 minus 1, and basically it's going to multiply with the 5 minus 1. After this, you know that the value will be change and it become 4. Then it will become this, that it will become 5, 8 multiplied by 4. It will become the 4, because if 5 minus 4, the value will decrease, and again it passed through the n, and now we know that value has been changed and value become 4. So the 4 is placed here, and it multiplied 5 multiplied with the 4. This is a basic condition. When it again starts to loop, now we know that after this, the value has been changed and the value become 4, because on the second step, the n value will be changed and become 4, because we are subtracting the minus from value from the n value from the 1. So that's why the n value will be changed and it will become 4. So the n value get 4. Now it's also not equal to 0, so that it will not return the 1. Again it go to this condition. Now we know that value is 4, and now we know the value is 4, so we multiply with 4, static with 4, and now factorial of 4. Now we know that we also need to subtract the minus 1, because we have to subtract it always minus 1 until it reach to the condition 1 or 0. So again it become the 4 multiplied by Now it will become 4 static multiply by 3. It will value will be changed and become 3. And now we know in previous section we have 5 multiplied by 4. So we're just going to multiply it with also. So the new coming value will be become new coming value will be become 5 static 4 static 3 and static. This is the new condition now become. Now we know that value has been changed and the value will become 3 again. It is less than again 3 is not equal to 0 and 1. So simply it go to this return function, and now the again condition will be goes, and that is 3 static factorial 3 minus 1. Okay, now again it will do the same condition, will do the same step. 4 will be same, and 3 will be same, but this value will be changed because after subtracting it will become minus, it will become 2, so it will be have 2 here, and so on until it will reach the 1. When it now in last condition, now we know that n value is 2, and then we again check it, because again check, and now it is not equal to 0 and not equal to 1, so it again do the same step. 4 multiply by 3 multiply by 2. After this multiplication, we know that we are multiplying with the factorial, mm, 2 minus 1. Now again value get changed. Now it will become 1. It will become 1. Sorry, now it will become 1 because 2 minus 1 is always 1. So it also get multiplied with 1, and so on. It could become, it will reach at its end target 3, 2, and 1. It become 1. Now after this calculation, again it go, now we know that value has been changed and it become 1, and now it will check again if n is equal to 1. Now we know that it is equal to 1 because n value is changed and it become equal to 1. Now they only return the 1, so it simply multiply by 1. After this multiplication, after this whole result, simply this all result going to be multiplied, and after this multiplication the result will be displayed on the screen. And I hope if we multiply all the value, then it will be 120. The result is 120, so the factorial of 5 will be 20. I will comment out and run this code so we can able to understand in better way how it is how its execution is working. So after understanding the formula, this is basic formula. You have to memorize this formula, and there is now we created the main function. Basically, we're going to take the input from the user. It's going to take the input from the runtime by the user. That we declare the variable that name num, and in num in this num variable we're holding the number that user that is going to be given to fetch the factorial. If user enter the 5, it will be stored in this num variable. After num variable, we passing the num variable into the factorial function. Just simply calling the factorial function. Just simply calling the factorial function, and here result in the end the calling of this function, and that num variable is in the parameter of this factorial will store in this result variable. So simply we can use result variable to see the result. Now we're using this cout condition, the cout function that basically help to print out the factorial of this. And first of all, I printed this statement that help to know that it is a factorial. That is factorial of this is a statement that factorial of and num that the user is enter. The number will be displayed, and the result will be displayed. After that, all the calculation, the result will be displayed. If I execute and compile and run, you will see the answer here. If I enter the 5, sorry, I will again compile and execute. This can get disappeared accidentally. So if I enter 5, Then you can see there the factorial 5 is 120. It means all calculation is true. If again if I enter the 0 or 1 from them, then it will return the 1, because zeros and 1 factorial is always 1. So simply I will enter as the 1, so you can understand how it is returning the 1. So I will compile and run. Now I will entering the 0. You can see that it is returning the 1. It's mean the factorial of 0 is always 1. So simply it's returning this statement. Basic return function is used to return any statement in the function. It's basically work like a cout function. It return these statements on the screen while using the functions. That is the basic code. Basic code, I hope you will understand this video. And if you like my video, please give a thumbs up to it, and stay with me. And if you have any query, please question me in the comment box, so I will give the answer. And coming video, we are also going to learn in the different topics, and we are also going to cover the OOP concepts. So if you like my videos, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And see you in the next video with next topic. Okay, Allah Hafiz.